Alright, so this recording is of Maurice Bailey. He was born April 20th, 1939. He served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam. He achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant. This recording is taking place July 20th, 2009 in the office of Senator Mark Begich in Anchorage, Alaska. My name is Paul Eldred and I'm a staff member for Senator Begich, and this interview is being conducted for the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress. All right. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and where and when you were born?
Yeah, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, 1939.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about your family, like what your parents did, how many siblings you had?
I had two brothers and one sister.
Okay.
And my mom died when I was 3 years old, so I was raised by an auntie and an uncle. And I stayed in Memphis until I was 13.
Okay.
And been basically on my own since I was 13 because I ran away from home.
Okay.
So, and I went to Chicago to find my father. And I enrolled in high school in Chicago. And I didn't think I was going to graduate because I was having a hard time with math. So I just, one morning I was on my way to school and I decided I wasn't going to school. I threw my books in the river. I went down to a recruiter and I forged some names and I was in the military. I was just one of those young guys that I thought this was a good way out, I guess. I went in the military when I was 17 years old, and I always wanted to be in aviation. But where I come from, in Memphis, Tennessee, most people didn't think a black person would ever be able to do anything like that. At a very, very young age, I realized that you could do anything you wanted to in this country. I was never a doubter. And I said, hey, I'll show you. They said, this guy is crazy. And I went in the military, and I went into I didn't go in aviation right away. I was in a gun battalion up in Chicago on the North Shore Drive, and a missile battalion, a missile outfit. And they started disbanding, and I was the company commander's driver, so I got a choice of where I wanted to go, and I wanted to go to not flight school, but to be a mechanic, a helicopter mechanic. And I got my wish. I went to Fort Brooke, Alabama, and I learned the basics of liaison helicopters, which was the CH-21, which was the, can't think of it now, but the Bell helicopters and the little liaison helicopters. I got the basic training there, and then I went to back to Chicago as a helicopter mechanic, and then to Selfridge Air Force Base over in Michigan. Then I got out in 1959. I'd done my 3 years. I was 20 years old, and I went back and I missed that camaraderie. And not only that, I went back to a segregated neighborhood, and I thought, you know what, there's got to be something better than this. And I went back into the military at 20. And I went to school for tandem rotor helicopter at Fort Rucker. And I went from there. I was not deployed, but I went to the 25th Infantry Division in Hawaii as a helicopter mechanic assistant, crew chief, I guess you'd call it, on those flying banana boats. And I went to Vietnam TDY to Quin Yon in 1962. They didn't have very many Americans there, and it was kind of a lackadaisical deal, whereas it wasn't a lot of fighting. Every once in a while you'd hear a gunshot, but it was easy duty. I was over there for 90 days. I went back to Hawaii, and after so many months, my whole unit was assigned to Vietnam. this 725th maintenance. We worked on all sorts of aircraft. We were assigned to Vietnam, and I was back in the rear in a pretty safe outfit, but I wanted to see some action, and I volunteered to go into the 25th Aviation Battalion A Company as a crew chief and a gunner, and I saw my action, and of course that year it was 67, 68. It was pretty hot that time. That was pretty hot. That's probably the highlight of that war. I think we only lost 2 people that whole year. But I was the oldest guy in the company besides the company commander. I was 25, and I was with some young guys, and they were trigger happy. And now that I look back, I'm probably here talking to you because I was with some trigger happy young guys. If they received fire, they turned it twofold. They were trigger happy, and I'm really proud of them. We didn't lose a lot of people. So I did. It was, I don't know. I don't want to go into any gory details. It was just, I did pick up a few bad habits there. And one of them was when I came back, I found out that when a car backfired, I'd hit the ground, and I was forever looking behind me, and I'd go into a room and I'd always sit. I would never sit with my back to a door like this ever. I don't even know why I'm doing it now because I don't normally do that. And I never ever got over that. And I can remember one thing that really stuck with me is at Cu Chi, in my middle tour, they had rats. They were big as cats, and people were getting bit. That was my greatest fear. It wasn't getting shot at. It was getting bit by one of those big rats. And I just wanted to go home. I did not want to stay over there, and I didn't want to go to Japan, to the hospital, wherever they were sending people to. And you heard all those kind of stories about some people didn't get a chance to go home. But the last 30 days I was there, I went on, I don't know how many combat assaults, but I would stay up all night. I would stay up all night because I was scared of getting bit by rats. You'd see them running across mosquito nets. That scared me to death. And we would go into firefights, and I would go to sleep on a machine gun, running a machine gun. I would go to sleep, and I guess maybe a couple of times saved my life because I looked back in the well of the helicopter, there was bullet holes there, so maybe that saved my life. I don't know. But at any rate, this rat thing, it was some 30-odd years later that my kids got a ferret. And I instructed them, look, you guys, keep this thing in the pen. Unless you take him outside, you take him outside and walk him. Well, one morning I woke up, that ferret was in my chest. And all this rat stuff came back after 30 years. I thought I was going crazy because every time I looked, I would see a big rat. I knew there wasn't any rats there, but it was driving me nuts. And that was one of the biggest mental things that I went through. And I was scared to tell anybody because I thought, you know what, they'll lock me up. There's no rats here. And it took me a long time before I finally went and asked for help. I said, I'm going crazy. I think it was when the Iraq War started because I went back into this paranoia again and whatever, seeing those roadside bombs. And I was watching TV a lot. And I asked one of my friends if he felt like that. He said, well, I just don't watch TV. So I said, okay, that's the solution. So I quit watching TV, and that helped me a lot. But it was hard for me because I'd see these young Americans with these hurt by these roadside bums, and would just bring everything back, fresh in my mind, that I didn't want to remember. But I knew it was time for me to try to get some of that stuff out. And because a long time ago, they used to have have these vet centers now, where they help people like myself that's been in combat. But I didn't ever want to go there because I always thought they were a bunch of crybabies. You know, I thought, I'm a tough guy, I don't need that. But I did need that. I needed to be debriefed, and I needed counseling. And I think today that I'm pretty well adjusted. Not all the way, but pretty much. I think that I try not to dwell on combat situations or my time in Vietnam. I don't make it a habit of hanging out with guys that do. I try to be in the now, you know, not in yesterday. And I'm 70 years old, and I've had about every kind of Agent Orange related disease or affliction that there is. I've had prostate cancer. Right now I have leukemia. I've been given a year to live. And I've got diabetes. They said that's Agent Orange related. I get a pension. I get a what do you call it, disability for it anyway. I don't know. But anyway, I'd have to say that probably some of my problems are Agent Orange related, because we went into places like Hobo Woods, and you can gather from a name like Hobo Woods what it was like, in the Iron Triangle, where the Air Force had defoliated that place with Agent Orange. And we used to go in there quite often. And I would say I had a damn good chance of picking up something there. And I've had all these things happen, like the leukemia just came about here. And they said, well, you didn't do that in Vietnam. What? Well, I don't know that. But I've got a what do you call it? Anyway, I'm getting a pension for some of that stuff. And I've got the residue of prostate cancer. I'm still diabetic. I do insulin. It got progressively worse. I'm 70 years old, so I think I'm still doing pretty good to still be alive. And if I had this to do all over again, would I do it? Of course I would do it. I'd go right now if they let me. I would, because I'm a warrior. And it's some people ask me, well, what do you think about encouraging young people to go to the military? I'll say if there was any way or anywhere like where I was in the situation, that's your best bet. You know, if you got no other way to go, that's a good way. You know, I've picked up a trade. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I just left International Airport, where I went and did a way job on an Aero Commander. That's what I do. I learned that in the military. And there's only about 2 guys around here to do that. So I got a lot to be thankful for the military. Not only that, but I'm retired, so I get a pension. And I get probably some of the best medical care that there is. People talk about the VA and run it down, but actually it's as good as any system that I know of, if not better. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for the VA. They've treated me pretty good, so I don't have anything bad to say about them at all. You know, all in all, my life is pretty good, and I try to help other veterans. Me and some of the guys I was in Vietnam with 40-something years ago, we go to the bush. I'm a service officer. I can file claims on the behalf of veterans with claims, disabilities, or service-related injuries, and I do, and file lots of claims. But that's not all that we do. We go out, we build handicap ramps, we help guys with their cabins and this kind of stuff. And some guys are alcoholics or drug addicts. We just go out and BS with them. They don't want anything. They just want to be left alone, except for another veteran. and but they need that too. So we go out. We don't take them booze or anything, but well, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a colonel up there at Crazy Man Lake. He's up 50, 60 miles from here. He's a full bull, retired. A nice guy. Doesn't want for anything, but he liked for veterans to stop by and BS with him. And by the way, they call it Crazy Man Lake. It was named after him. Okay? Yeah. And we've got another guy up on this at Squintna. He's 63 years old. We just came across him. He is feral. He's heavily armed. He has an M16. And he doesn't trust the government, anybody affiliated with it. This guy lives on, up until last year, he lived on $900 a year. That's all he got. And that was his dividend until we got that big dividend last year.
Right.
He was in hog heaven. He lives on top ramen and soy sauce. That's his main diet. The college kid stuff. But we go up. We've got him a snow machine that was given to us, donated just for him, because the guy's 63. He gets his wood and stuff with a sled. He pulls it. This guy is tough. He lives in a greenhouse he built, and he has bladders, fuel bladders. I don't know where he got them from, and he pipes his heat in from outside. And this guy's a whiz. He has a four-wheeler that he has patched the tires so many times that in order for it to hold air now, he's got some latex paint inside. It's to seal them up. It still works. Look. And this guy is a Vietnam veteran. So we've given him some snowshoes and he knows it's from veterans, so he doesn't mind accepting that. And we've given him some winter clothes, and he likes these science fiction, so we gave him, a lot of books. We run into veterans like that, and we got another guy we just found out about, and we speak these guys' language. We've been there and done that, and so if you went over there, it might be a little different story. You might get shot at. But us, it's a little bit different. And so that's kind of what we do. And I met Senator Begich, and he seemed like he really was interested in helping veterans because, you get a little lopsided. And when I say lopsided, you put a lot of emphasis and attention on the new guys coming back. But you can't just discard the old guys like me and say, okay, we got to really focus on the new guys. Well, wait a minute. We went over, we did whatever you asked us to do, and we need some help from you now. We've gotten old, got a lot of things wrong with us, and we need your attention. Don't tell me you don't have the money. You shouldn't have started that war if you couldn't take care of me. Okay, you send me to do a job, I do it. Now you take care of me. It's real simple. I don't want to hear that stuff about, we ain't got enough money. Then don't start no wars and send me someplace. You know what I mean? I mean it too. I will do anything for this country, but this country got to take care of me too. I'm willing to take a bullet for the country any day of the week. But you need to be able to fix my paranoia and my mental after you sent me over there to acquire all this stuff, these good habits I didn't have before I went. I'll go, but come on now. Let's get a game plan going here. And so that's what I find fault with today, is that it's just they think about right now and not later. Because the health system is probably overwhelmed right now. And we need to make provisions for that. You pay for a war long after it's over. So that's what people got to think about, and not just go do this trip. We've got a lot of people from Vietnam that's still suffering. We've got probably over 80,000 right here in Alaska. Last census was 74,500. But now we have the influx of Afghanistan and Iraqi veterans, which has pushed that number up closer to 84,000. And the state right here, they do a good job, but most of the guys are out in the bush, off the road system. So they, anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm glad to have done what I've done. I'm glad I was able to serve my country. And I get up every morning, I think about how lucky I am to be here in this country. I could have been born in Africa someplace, or LA for that matter. I'm glad to be in Alaska, and I'm really happy to be an American right here, right now. Yeah. And when these people start complaining, I have to set them straight. You know what? You just don't know how good you got it. We got it pretty damn good here. So we have problems. Everybody has problems. We can figure them out. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Do you mind if I ask a few questions?
Go right ahead.
All right. Well, the work that you're doing, going out, meeting with the veterans and talking with them and everything, is that with an organization, or is it?
Yeah, it's an organization that I founded. I started.
Okay.
Veterans Aviation Outreach.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is that a local organization up here?
Yeah, it is. It's a local veteran organization. Yeah.
Okay. When you were in Vietnam, can you tell me about some of the friendships that you made and the camaraderie that was?
Yeah, I can. I can tell you. I can tell you. I can tell you that there's no such thing as somebody being prejudiced. I've heard that all my life. There's no such thing. People are prejudiced as long as they can afford to be. When you can't afford to be, you forget it. Let me tell you something. I picked up a lot of people because I was on dust-off helicopters sometimes. They made no qualms about me picking them up. So some of the guys I knew were die-hard racists. Hey, I've seen them get shot, and of course, we're a team. And you go and you get them in a helicopter, and they're scared they're going to die. They could care less about who you are or what color you are. So I was glad to be able to see that, to know that, hey, there's no such thing. I realized that. And I realized as Americans that we work together, we were a team. And that was my sense of being with a team. It doesn't matter. That's why when I came back here to the States, I go, you know what? Everybody should be in the military. And they can learn, you know what? We're a team. We're Americans. We're a team. If we don't lose sight on that, we can do anything. We can do anything. But we need to lose sight on that and fight each other. We don't need to do that.
All right. When you were in Vietnam, did you stay in touch with folks from home through letters and everything, or not at all?
I was bad about that. I was bad about that. I was young. Not really.
What did you guys do when you were off duty?
Drink. Drink beer.
All right. How were you in Vietnam until the war ended?
I left there last time in 70 or 71. It was getting close. I was there when it was lackadaisical. I was there when it was hot. And I was there when everybody was getting tired and winding down. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do when you returned to the States? You were living in Chicago before that? Did you?
Yeah, but I didn't live there then. When I returned, I retired right here in Alaska. At Fort Wainwright. And I had a business. I had an excavating business. And, I just could never stay out of aviation. It's something I'd done for a long time. And I went back into aviation. I used to have the old DC-3 hangar out here at Merrill Field. I went back into aviation, working on airplanes.
Okay. And when did you retire from the military?
And May 7th, 1976.
Okay.
Yeah. At noon.
You know exactly when.
Yeah.
All right, and then you lived up here in Alaska since then?
Yeah, I was living here since '68. I got deployed from here, middle tour, but I've been living up here a long time.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how many tours did you have in?
I did 2 full tours and 1 TDY.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything I have for you.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I really appreciate this interview, and I appreciate you asking us about what we do, because we've been very low key, because we're not out there for these photo ops. We're out there to really take care of business and
Right.
helping veterans. But it's time somebody knew what we did, because we don't get a lot of money to do this operation with, and a lot of it comes out of our pockets. And I think maybe we should try to get some funding and be funded, because what we do is something the government, quite frankly, should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in and doing
Thank
this.
you for having me here. Appreciate it. All right.